What's going on, parents? It is Wednesday, August the 14th, and it is time for our 3 question/conversation starters from our Wednesday night sermon. Tonight's text is Ephesians chapter 5, verses 21 through 33, and if you're familiar with it from when you probably went through premarital counseling however long ago, that's the text on husbands and wives. That's the text in the book of Ephesians where Paul is going to take a moment to speak to wives and take a moment to speak to husbands, and he makes allusion to the relationship between them and how it's related to Jesus and to his church. So here's our 3 questions. Got some specific, got some open-ended. Question number 1 is this: why would a godly woman want to submit to her husband? Why would a godly woman want to submit to her husband? We're going to talk about tonight that the Bible calls the wife to submit to her husband, not because it calls the husband to rule over her with an iron fist, but because it calls him to love her in such a way, to pursue her in such a way, to lead in such a way like Jesus that gives of himself, that she would want to follow his leadership. A woman should want to follow her husband's leadership in the same way that a Christian wants to follow the leadership of Jesus, because he's pursued us, because he's loved us in this way. So why would a godly woman want to submit to her husband? Secondly, why is discipline such an important quality for Christians, especially husbands? Why is discipline such an important quality for Christians, especially husbands? I'm going to make a special call out to the young ladies tonight to just remind them not to ever follow any young man who is not extremely well disciplined to the altar. Because if you can't exercise the discipline to lead yourself, he certainly will never be able to lead a wife or to lead a home. Young men, cultivate discipline. Young women, cultivate discipline in yourself as well, but seek out a man who is disciplined. And young men, seek out a woman who is disciplined. Seek out somebody of the opposite gender who is following after Christ with discipline in order to marry them. And then thirdly and lastly, what are some of the similarities in the relationship between a husband and a wife and between Christ and the church? What are some of the similarities between a relationship between a husband and a wife and Christ and the church? 2 of them that are going to get named directly in this is that the church is the body of Christ, and a man loves his own body, and he loves his own wife as loving his own body, and that the church is the bride of Christ, and Christ lays his life down for the church as the church lives for him. Those are our 3 questions for tonight. Reminder that meals are back this evening, so we will join together at 5:30 in the fellowship hall to eat, and then after that go up for service of worship in the student room. Love you all. See you there shortly.